Hey, and welcome back. We're going to keep the momentum going, so we're going to jump right into it. Welcome to Beastars Chapter 154, Jack Sensei's History Classroom. So, last we left off, uh, Jack got to hear Legosi's How for the first time, so now we're going to get a history lesson now that these two have cleared the air, and, we get to hear Jack's side of things and what's going on in, like, animal society history. So, let's jump right in. The cafeteria is still integrated. We don't need to use it in different times. Everyone's already sitting with their species before the segregation. That's true. So, what did you learn from the special class? Is it even okay for me to know? You might not believe the history of animal society even if I were to tell you. You might not even be able to sleep at night. Everything I'm going to say is simply too frightening. Really? That makes me curious. Somehow monotone. It sounds like the ghostie's bored already. Let's see. By the way, what's your height and weight? Huh? A little more than 180 centimeters, and weight is. I've lost weight since I've started living alone. I think I'm 75 kilograms. 75 kilograms, okay? He has lost weight, though. You have a good body type. Yeah, you're very skinny macho. What do you mean? I'm average? You only feel average because of how things are right now. Was he. Things are right now? What? Does he mean like there's no conflict? Is that it? Because since it was a war, I'd imagine animals were bigger back then. So we'll see. The animals around us look slender, right? That body type is a phenomenon of modern society, so to speak. The animals of this time period are getting skinnier every year. It's not because young students. It's not because we're young students. The middle-aged animals inside society are just the same. That makes sense. Going told me he had a beer belly. He isn't fat. Wait, what? That makes sense. Going told me he had a beer belly. He isn't fat. Zagwan, the sea animal, is the only chubby grown-up I've ever seen. Now that I think about it, that's super true. Going works out though, so he's jacked AF. But interesting. I wonder why that is. It's because they don't eat meat. Um, I don't know. Maybe they don't have a reason to put on that weight. I don't know, we'll see. But the carnivores from long ago used to have a lot more fat and muscle. Uh-huh. They're really big and savage. A very long time ago. There was a time period where the carnivores were called life animals. Okay, so this is an expansion on what Melon was talking about before. So that leads me to believe, does Melon know the real history? Like, is Melon an elite as well? I wonder if we're leading into that plot point too. So, because Melon has shown high intelligence, and he's a history teacher, so it would make sense for him to know like the true history. He has like a PhD, right? Anyway, their average height and weight were 300 centimeters and 200 kilograms. They were very intelligent and had great camaraderie, meaning they were capable of treating their comrades with compassion, protecting them, and being kind to them. But they were very savage. When they fought each other, they always fought to the death. The winner would eat the loser and live on. They were called life animals because they would eat life. They would live only by the strength of their bodies, so their population growth was stagnant and their culture was underdeveloped. But then, they met the nature animals, what we now call the herbivores. I see what's happening. Okay, so a rock is falling, and the carnivore protected the herbivore, using its strength. Kind of like what Legosi's doing right now, and Goheen as well. So that's interesting. So if this is the history, right? If this is how they forged the relationship with each other from the get-go, it means they have. It means carnivores, because this is like back in the day, right? They have an innate desire to protect the herbivores. He didn't have to do this, but he did. So that's interesting to think about. so they can ignore their like base desires to consume in order to protect, which is kind of like what Legosi's doing. She's channeling all his destructive like tendencies and instincts into like a philosophy to protect the herbivore. So that's interesting to think about how that instinct was just present from the get go. It's not that they're like bad; it's just how they were born on different ends of the spectrum. Let's see. What's interesting is that the life animals perceive nature animals as objects for their protect. There, yes, freaking called it. Let's go. All right, so it's that life animals perceive nature animals as objects for their protection. Though it might have been their survival instincts telling them that helping the nature animals would be beneficial to them. In this context and what we've seen, that doesn't make any sense. Although that's just a theory from Jack, right? But this guy had no reason to believe that. He could easily been a snack, but no. Look at this. Right? He has no reason to believe like this scrawny thing that can't even defend itself can be beneficial to him, right? But it's interesting how they have the innate desire from the get-go. That's really cool. That means there's potential for ooh, I would why doesn't the rest of society know this though? That's the thing. Why don't they know? That's an important detail. That's an important distinction that people should know, right? They innately want to protect them. And it's actually Drama Club is actually a really interesting character study because of Bill, right? Even though Bill eats meat, right? He still has an innate desire to protect his friends, their family to him, right? So it's like it's a mirror to that. And you see it in Drama Club because that's the only place in the school that isn't separated, and they want to stay together because they understand each other. Man, so there wasn't any conflict when they first met each other. Yep, that's when animal society first began. The nature animals, who were always very fertile and thus very prosperous, accepted the life animals and formed an animal society. Over a long period of history, the life animals became more gentle. They got more protein from eating eggs and milk. Ah, so that's where they started to slim down because they changed their diet. And they adopted a peaceful lifestyle and became thinner, like how we are now. Yep, they didn't need to put on that meat, that weight, because they're not in conflict. Oh, this school is always focusing on that time period alone and ended it right there. This school is always focusing on that time period. So, that's where the history. Okay, so that's where the history lesson ended, right? For Legacy. So there's more to the story then. It was the most peaceful time period after all. The scary stuff happened afterwards in the Carney Herbie War 100 years ago. That's not a long. Wait, that's not a long time. That's only 100 years? Jeez. Well, come to think of it, I wonder if these guys have regular lifespans. I wonder if they have the same lifespans as I wonder if they have the same lifespans as their their real life counterparts. Like, so if Jack is 1 year old, is he actually 7 years, or do they actually like age according to their species? I'd imagine to keep things consistent, they would actually age according to. Actually, no, that doesn't make sense because Legosi's 17, and 17 in dog years is. I can't math, so a lot. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, there are always conflicts, big and small, when two different species live together. But that war was so big, a conflict that they invented new monikers for each of them. Monikers? The carnivores and the herbivores. Ah, so that's when the separation came up. Well, they were always labeled carnivores were life animals, herbivores were nature animals. So that's where the vores came in. Okay. So this is the war. This isn't right. Our population was 3 times bigger than yours, and now our population is the same. And even worse, all our corpses are disappearing. You're using war as an excuse to eat us, you damn carnivores. Please surrender, herbivores. If you keep fighting us, we're gonna eat you all up. Interesting. So they're feasting on their corpses to, to keep up their strength in battle. All right. Or maybe that's just an instinct that they were suppressing because they were working. My question is, how did this war even start, though? I don't think Jack said that. How did this war start? And as you can see, the carnivore doesn't even want to fight. They want the fighting to stop. We don't know like what dictated the war, though. I don't want to destroy the civilization we worked so hard to create. This is all now. I'm sorry. This is all nonsense. If you surrender now, we won't eat you. You must let us atone for this from now to the distant future. What's atone for what? Eating corpses or before the corpse eating started? And then something happened. Okay, so look at this. This carnivore is saying he wants to atone. Us carnivores will atone for something that has not been disclosed what had happened. But even then, even though they're in a war, look what the carnivore does. The herbivore runs to the carnivore for safety, right? And the carnivore instinctively, that instinct is still there, he instinctively uses his body as a shield to protect them. They're on different sides, but they still have their instincts. That's super interesting to think about. But I'm wondering what's happening. What is a big enough of a threat for him to like be in distress like this? Both of them, at least. A big whale appeared and stopped the war. I'm done. What did he just say? A whale? There's no freaking way a whale. What? Then again, that wouldn't be the weirdest thing. But a whale? How would it even like get on land? A whale, of all things. Wait a minute. Was there a shadow? Oh, okay. I didn't notice something. I noticed something. Okay. I missed it. They're right next to the water, right? They're right on the water. That's okay. So they're right next to the beach. So that's where the whale came from. Okay, because I was looking at this background behind them, but then if we go back here, this is water. So it makes sense that so it beached itself to like stop the war. That's interesting. Okay. So it's interesting how the ocean is as it's been established through the Zagwan chapters. The ocean is very much its own thing. Like it seems like the bridge between the land and sea has not happened because even the shark said Legosi was very going to be very important as kind of like a liaison and an important bridge to the land and the sea with his understanding of their culture and whatnot. So that's interesting that a whale of all things was the one, a third party, the ocean was the one that stepped in and stopped the war. So interesting. The whale was so big that the herbivore stopped taking the whale was so big that the herbivore stopped taking the war seriously. So they surrendered. The war was over. What? Did it at them? The whale was what? The whale was so big that the herbivore stopped taking the war seriously. What do you mean they just stopped taking it seriously? Even Legosi's like, look at that face, man. A big, a big whale. He's trying not to laugh. Don't smile at me like that. You don't believe me, do you, Legosi? Ah, jeez, I should never have told you. Come on, it's not like I don't believe you. It's just kind of shifted into fantasy. You don't believe me. I do. Oh, my man Yafia. Okay, let's see. Why is he in the rain? I might catch a cold. Bruh. Nah. It's what? Okay, so it's not a myth. That's nuts. That's actually what happened. And this is the whale too. whales can live like for years, like over 100. So that's crazy to think about. I bet this is the exact same whale that stopped the war. It has to be. Otherwise, why would it get brought up? This is the same one. It has to be. It's hard to believe that you're 400 years old with a blow like that. Oh, so, yep, this is the whale. It's a 400-year-old whale. Okay. I said 100 years. Whales can live for hundreds of years. But, that's nuts. Look at this thing. Oh, I don't know why. Looking at it makes me, gives me a sinking feeling. I think I have a, it's not agoraphobia. It's like a fear of depths or something like that. I don't even know I swim a lot, like in the ocean, but man, thing is huge. But I like Yafia. Whenever he appears, he just, Paru has a lot of fun drawing Yafia. You can tell because he gets the best poses. Like he always looks like a boss, no matter what he does. Your presence put an end to the carne herbivore. The word reverence doesn't even describe the amount of respect I have for you. Your sea speak has improved, Yafia. Thank you. My associates are telling me that your words which stopped the war would give me a hint necessary for this animal society. What did you say? Can you still not tell me? Oh, so he sends bubbles up and that's how he communicates? Oh, a fun fact about whales. They can freaking destroy you. Like if a whale is ever beached, they allow humans to come near them. And if you dive, they allow you to come near them. They can they're so intelligent, they know they can destroy you with just a single like shout, but they actually temper themselves to not mess you up. Like it can like destroy your insides. It can rupture your eardrums, destroy your insides just off of the vibrations of its speaking, right? But they actually like temper themselves so they won't hurt you, right? And that's how they fight as well. It's like ultrasonic something, I forget. But it's super interesting how they use it. They like abuse the physics in the water to do that, to like disorient their prey. I believe orcas do it as well. But it's super cool. I like whales. I like orcas. I like whales. So I'm happy to see a whale here. Yeah. Let's see. You you still cannot tell me? The land animals are immature. They're always fighting. They have to coexist more peacefully before I can tell you. Is that right? In that case, consider this summit meeting adjourned. So that was the end of the chapter? Wait, so the whale's useless. What? Hold on. 400 years. Okay, your presence been into corner. Right, your cease. Yeah, thank you. Okay. You, my associates, are telling me that your words which sought the war would give me a hint necessary for this animal society. Can you still not tell me? So Yafia is looking for ways to help animal society, but the whale is like, y'all violent, so I'm not telling you anything. Pretty much. He's like, hey, make them get along better and I might tell you. That's so unhelpful. So what's the point of this guy? So this is like an in-game thing. Like by the time the whale tells Yafia how to help animal society, the darn manga is gonna be over. So I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense. Like this I don't like. It feels like we're gonna wait forever to get a payoff to this, right? Because you can't just introduce this thing right here, which has major implications for the story, and not even like use it, right? Because what it's requesting for carnivores and herbivores to get along, um, that's an in-game type thing, right? That's something that's gonna happen. Hopefully, it's gonna happen at the end of the story, right? We don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen. But man, useless whale. I hope it's. You know what? I'm getting those vibes again. I'm getting those vibes. I hope this isn't Rokume all over again. I'm still salty about that. I'm still salty about Rokume. Hopefully this whale doesn't get Rokume. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, that was the end of the chapter. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye now. See you during the next one.